Hi, this is Mallikarjun, lecturer in Mechanical Engineering, GMRP Utnur. In this video session, I'll be discussing about bayonet. The subject I am going to deal is engineering materials, subject code 18M305C, and in the fifth unit I am going to discuss about bayonet. So bayonet is a crystalline microstructure feather that forms in steel upon heating and guided cooling. So before I discuss about the bayonet, let me recap the previous video sessions, previous topics. That during the heat treatment, we are discussing this bayonet under the topic of heat treatment. If we take a hypoeutectoid steel and heat it above A3 line and then cooling so if we can clearly see it in the picture. Cooling it below the nose, escaping the nose, and holding the steel at around 300 degrees centigrade until the entire austenite transforms into bayonet. This is just like martensite transformation. In martensite transformation also we have escaped the nose and we directly quenched the hypoeutectoid steel below 200 degrees centigrade and we held the temperature until the entire austenite transforms into martensite. So we also discussed about the retained austenite in the martensite. This is very obvious. 100% transformation of austenite into martensite is impossible because the outer surface of the hypoeutectoid steel gets the cooling effect than the inside or the core part or core section is not quenched. So the core section will transform into perlite, whereas the outer sections will transform into martensite and the core will transform into perlite, because the formation of perlite is very simple. Just holding the austenite just below the isothermal point, that is 723 degrees centigrade. At 723 degrees centigrade, austenite transforms into perlite without changing any chemical composition. Whereas in martensite also same, everything is same. Hypoeutectoids, whatever the temperature we want to make, we will take this austenite we'll take the hypoeutected steel in the austenitic phase, and then we directly quench that austenitic phase hypoeutected steel to that particular temperature, and then it is held at that temperature for sufficient time until the austenite converts into austenite converts into perlite or bainite or sorbite or trustite or martensite. So the bainitic steel structure has been defined is normally a two-phase microstructure which is formed by austenite transformation between the temperature range at which the perlite and martensite forms. So for plain carbon steels, the area for bainite formation with continuous cooling is limited. Where a bainitic microstructure is required, alloy additions are made to extend the bainite part of isothermal and continuous cooling curves. So to get the bainite, we need to escape the nose part of the cooling curve. Bainitic microstructure can be easily attained rather than martensitic structure. So particularly small additions of molybdenum will also favors the formation of bainitic structure. So for plain carbon steels, low alloy steels, the bainitic lathe structure forms within the prior austenite grain boundaries by an initially displacive transformation from austenite to ferrite. But then the cooling rate is such that there is time for some carbon to come out of solution as carbide particles, as aligned particles within the lathe at a fast rate. And the lower bainite is more finer than the upper bainite, and as semi-lamellae between the lathes at a slower rate, upper bainite is formed. So past research showed that such carbide containing bainitic structures or tempered martensite structures were not superior to perlitic structures for normal rail wear. Higher grades of 1% chromium are head hardened with low carbon and alloying other forms of bainite are possible with no carbon coming out of solution. So these have superior tensile mechanical properties to medium and high carbon perlitic steels. The lower carbon alloys have retained austenite at inner lathe sides, and the higher carbon alloys zones of retained austenite with their centers partially transformed to martensite, sometimes called massive bainite. Some electron micrographs and schematics of these structures are shown in the figure, and respective hardness data, engineering stress and strain, and ductile brittle transformation temperature plots can be easily plotted. So these plots show the greatly increased toughness and ductility of carbide-free bainitic steels, and the sharp drop in toughness in bainitic grade containing intra-lathe carbide. Sometimes the bainitic grade steels structures into four types, V1 to B4. So therefore bainitic structure has more strength and hardness than the perlitic structure. As we discussed in the earlier sections, that the bainitic structure cannot be observed from the normal microscope. An electron microscope is needed to study the bainitic structure to understand the mechanical properties. So the high concentration of dislocations in the ferrite present in bainite makes the ferrite hard. So the cementite in bainite is typically not regularly arranged in the form of parallel arrays or plates, but appears instead in the form of many irregularly arranged precipitates inside small dislocations, rich ferrite grains. So if we can understand the structure of perlite, we can easily understand the structure of bainite. So this is the structure of bainite. Bainite formed at a 180 degree centigrade is shown at the bottom. So the more higher cooling rate, the finer the structure. So therefore it is easy sometimes, but even in the formation of bainite there is retained problem of retained austenite. So the main problem in achieving, we can easily achieve martensitic structure, we can easily achieve fine bainitic structure or coarser bainitic structure, but the only problem is with retained austenite. So how to eliminate the retained austenite in the all this? So to eliminate the retained austenite, we need to do further heat treatment processes. So generally, in simple terms, the temperature range for transformation of austenite to bainite is around 250 to 550 degrees centigrade is and there is no fundamental lower limit to the bainite start temperature when formed during continuous cooling. So the cooling rate to form bainite is more rapid than that required to form perlite, but less rapid than is required to form martensite. Most alloying elements will retard the formation of bainite. Though carbon is the most effective in doing so, aluminium or cobalt are exceptions in that they can accelerate the decomposition of austenite and raise the transformation temperature. So the microstructures of martensite and bainite at first seem quite similar, consisting of thin plates which in low alloy steels cluster together. So this is a consequence of the two microstructures sharing many aspects of the transformation mechanisms. So this is a sequence of the two microstructures. However, morphologically differences do exist that require transmission electron microscope to see the differences between the lower bainitic structure and the upper bainitic structure. That is, the upper bainitic structure is coarse and the lower bainitic structure contains fine structure. So in the previous sessions we have discussed about this formation of bainite and martensite. Now let us see the formation of sorbite. Sorbite is nothing but it is a dispersed variety of perlite. That means the finer mixture of ferrite and cementite is called as sorbite. So sorbite was named was named in the honor of the English scientist H.C. Sorby. So, it is formed as a result of the decomposition of austenite at a temperature of approximately 650 degrees centigrade. This is very, very important because we discussed this in the uh, formation of martensite and bainite. So martensite is quenched to below 200 degrees centigrade and bainite is quenched below 550 degrees centigrade. Sorry, below 300 degrees centigrade, and this sorbite is quenched at 650 degrees centigrade. So sorbite is also very fine structure of perlite. So the the crystal structure of sorbite is again BCC. So the distance between the lamellae in sorbite is 0.2 micrometer, whereas in perlite it is 0.5 to 1 micrometer. So the hardness, strength and impact strength of sorbite are greater than those of perlite. So sorbite is found by rapid cooling of hypoeutected steel to above in the between 650 to 400 degrees centigrade. So practically perlite which has not had time to become perfectly formed, the solid solution of carbon in iron, that is austenite, will decompose into perlite. So together with either excess ferrite or excess cementite according as the percentage of carbon is less or more than 0.9%. So the complete decomposition of the austenite requires time, and there is therefore very frequently only a partial resolution into perlite. So the transition forms between the austenite and the perlite are called respectively martensite, trustite and sorbite. So the ferrite carbide mixture formed as a result of hardening and high temperature tempering is sometimes called tempered sorbite. So this is very important. Most of the books don't write about the formation of sorbite and the formation of trustite because at 723 degrees centigrade the entire austenite converts into perlite, but at 650 degrees centigrade suddenly quenching the hypoeutected steel to say 650 degrees centigrade, the structure what we get is a fine perlitic structure called as instead of saying fine, a dispersed perlitic structure is called as sorbite. So we can see the structure of sorbite. very fine. The entire dark area is the fine structure of sorbite, and white is ferrite. We were talking about the hypoeutectoid steels. Therefore, in hypoeutectoid steel we will have ferrite, and the rest of the portion is sorbite. So therefore, the white portion can be easily differentiated with the dark patch areas. So in the same way, we will have trustite. Trustite, a highly dispersed variety of perlite, namely a eutectide mixture of ferrite and cementite. Trustite was named in the honor of French scientist Elger Trust. It is formed as a result of the decomposition of arsenic at a temperature below 600 degrees centigrade. It is very easy to remember. Perlite is at 723 degrees centigrade. The decomposition of austenite into perlite takes place at 723 degrees centigrade. That is the isothermal reaction temperature. And to get to sorbite, what we have to do is we have to cool the temperature, the steel, hypoeutected steel, at 650 degrees centigrade, and trustite we should cool this at 600 to 550 degrees centigrade. So the interlaminar distance in trustite is less than 0.1, whereas sorbite it is 0.2 micrometer, whereas perlite it is from 0.5 to 1 micrometer. So that is the difference. So if we observe, and the laminar structure of trustite with a fan shaped arrangement of the layers may be observed using electron microscopy. Dark segments of trustite on a background of light fields of martensite are visible under an optical microscope. You can clearly see the structure. The dark regions are clearly observed here. So let us go back to this diagram. So this is the main diagram for the transformation of all the metals, all the microstructures. The concept is very simple: for the formation of perlite, for the formation of sorbite, for the formation of trustite, for the formation of upper bainite, for the formation of lower bainite, for the formation of martensite. In all these things, we need to heat the hypoeutectoid steel to the A3 line, above A3 line, 30 to 50 degrees centigrade above the A3 line, and for hypereutectoid steels it is around 30 to 50 degrees centigrade above the ACM line, and then cooling the metal, suddenly bringing the metal to the required temperature and holding that metal or steel at the temperature until the entire austenite transforms into the required uh, microstructure. That is, as we can see, indicates the yellow line for perlite, that is from 723 degrees centigrade to at 723 degrees centigrade perlite is formed. Perlite is a mixture of ferrite plus ferrite and cementite. It is an alternate arrangement of ferrite and cementite. So then, to get a fine perlite, we cool just around 700 degrees centigrade, and further fine we bring it around 680 degrees centigrade. But at 650 degrees centigrade, what we get is sorbite, and at 600 degrees centigrade to 550 degrees centigrade, what we get is trustite. So first at 723 to 700 degrees centigrade, what we get is perlite, and from 650 to 650 degrees centigrade, what we get is sorbite. So between 723 degrees centigrade and 650 degrees centigrade, we get coarse perlite and fine perlite, and after at 650 degrees centigrade, what we get is sorbite, and at 600 degrees centigrade, what we get is trustite. So sorbite is very fine structure of perlite called as dispersed perlite, and 650 degrees centigrade, 600 degrees centigrade, a further dispersed microstructure called as trustite is observed, and below 600 degrees centigrade, that is around 550 degrees centigrade, what we get as upper bainite or coarse bainite, and around 400 degrees centigrade to 300 degrees centigrade, what we get is a fine bainitic structure. And if we hold the steel at below 200 degrees centigrade or 250 degrees centigrade, what we get is martensitic structure. So in all these structures, the only problem is retained austenite. So if we want, we can once again go to the martensitic transformation. So martensite is a supersaturated solid solution of carbon and alpha iron, resulting in BCT crystal structure. It is very hard and brittle. So there are several important characteristics of the martensitic transformation. The transformation is diffusionless and there is no change in, so there is no time for the entire carbon to come out of the austenite. So therefore what happens, because the presence of carbon in the austenite, therefore there is an elongation to along the diagonals, therefore it forms a tetragonal crystal structure. So that too a body central tetragonal crystal structure. So the transformation proceeds during cooling and ceases if the cooling is interrupted. Therefore the transformation depends only upon the decrease in temperature and is independent of time. The amount of martensite formed with decreasing temperature is not linear. The number of martensite needles produced at first is small, then the number increases, and finally near the end it decreases again. So the temperature of the start of martensite formation is known as MS temperature and the end of martensite formation as MF temperature. If the steel is held at any temperature below the MS, the formation of martensite will stop and will not proceed again unless the temperature is dropped. The martensite temperature cannot be suppressed, nor can the MS temperature be changed by changing the cooling rate. The temperature range of the formation of martensite is characteristic of a given alloy and can be lowered by increasing the cooling rate. So martensite is probably never in a condition of real equilibrium, although it may persist indefinitely or near room temperature. The structure can be considered as a transition between the unstable phase and the final equilibrium condition of a mixture of ferrite and cementite. So the hardness of martensite increases rapidly at first with increase in the carbon content, reaching about the Rockwell C60 at 0.4% carbon, and after 0.4% carbon to 0.8% carbon, the hardness reaches to 65. So this is due to the greater tendency to retain austenite in high carbon steels. The high hardness of martensite is believed to be a result of lattice distortions during high cooling rates, since the amount of carbon present is many times more than can be held in solid solution. So therefore the maximum hardness obtainable from a steel in martensite condition seems to be the function of carbon content only. So this is all about martensite. So while we study, the order should be in: first we should understand the transformation of austenite to perlite, then at what temperatures coarse perlite is formed, and at what temperatures austenite is transformed into fine perlite, and then at what temperature sorbite is transformed, austenite is transformed into sorbite, and at what temperatures the austenite is transformed into trustite or upper bainite or lower bainite or martensite. So all the phases are common, but the cooling rate and the holding temperature are different for each and every structure. So this is exactly where the mechanical properties are related with the structures. So let us discuss about the mechanical properties. So as it is mentioned here, the RC value of perlite is around 15 to 20, and the RC value of sorbite is around 25, and trustite is 30, and bainite is around 50, and martensite is around 60. So as this hardness is increased, strength is also increased because of these microstructures. So just because of these microstructures, the steel can be having different mechanical properties with different cooling rates. So without changing the composition of the steel, that is, for example, if we take 0.4% carbon steel, so without changing the composition of that particular steel, that is 0.4% carbon is kept as it is, and with the same composition I can get RC15, I can get RC20, I can get RC60. So all this is based only on the cooling rate and at which the steel is held to transform the austenite into the required microstructure. So this is the main uh, uh, basic idea behind the formation. So therefore I always show you this picture because this is the main. In this we can clearly understand perlite, bainite and martensite. Very important diagram. So if we can understand these structures, so when we observe it under the microscope, by just seeing the microstructure we can understand, we can estimate the mechanical properties. So then after bainite, we discussed about sorbite and trustite, upper bainite and lower bainite. So these so based on these structures we will have various studies to improve the mechanical properties. Holding at this particular temperatures is difficult basically, and formation of perlite is very easy rather than formation of sorbite or rather than the formation of trustite, because we will have ample of time for the austenite to transform into perlite, whereas sorbite has much less retained austenite when compared to trustite, and trustite has much less retained austenite than the upper bainite, and the upper bainite has less retained austenite than the lower bainite, and lower bainite microstructure will have less retained austenite than the martensitic steel. So once the martensitic steel, once the austenite is transformed into martensite, then to convert the retained austenite into the other structures, it is again tempered so that the differences in the microstructure throughout the section can be adjusted or balanced. So after the formation of the structures, a slight heat treatment processes are required, which we will be going to discuss in the upcoming video classes. So sorbite is a dispersed variety of perlite, which is a eutectic. It is not eutectic. It is a eutectoid mixture of eutectoid mixture of ferrite and cementite. Sorbite was named, this we discussed, is an English scientist, and it is formed as a result of the decomposition of austenite at a temperature of approximately 650 degrees centigrade. The distance between the lamellae in sorbite is 0.2 micrometer, whereas in perlite it is 0.5 to 1 micrometer. So very fine compared to the perlitic structure, whereas in the trustite it is 50% less than the sorbite. In sorbite we have 0.2 micrometer distance between the interlaminar ferrite and perlite, whereas trustite it is only 0.1 micrometer, and whereas in the martensite it is 0.025, and it is not lamellar, it is a needle-like structure, a spine structure. That means one needle will alternate layers struck in the form of a spine. So that is the martensitic structure. So then trustite, a highly dispersed variety of perlite named a eutectide mixture of ferrite and cementite. Even this trustite was named in the honor of French scientist Trust. It is formed as a result of the decomposition of austenite at temperatures below 600 degrees centigrade, whereas sorbite is around 650 degrees centigrade and trustite is 600 degrees centigrade. So the interlamellar distance in trustite is less than 0.1 micrometer. Trustite is harder than perlite or sorbite. The laminar structure of trustite is with a fan-shaped arrangement of the layers may be observed by electron microscopy, which cannot be seen under normal optical microscope. So every time we get trustite, there is a problem with retained austenite. However, the retained austenite is more compared to the retained austenite in the sorbite. So obviously trustite is also subjected to tempering after the formation of trustite structure. So all the structures, perlite, coarse perlite, fine perlite, sorbite, trustite, upper bainite and lower bainite, then martensite. All these structures will have retained austenite except in perlitic structure, because perlite happens at single temperature and it is held there for sufficiently long period until the entire austenite transforms into perlite. Whereas it is not possible because we are directly quenching this to the required temperature and holding it the temperature. So because of this action, there will be always retained austenite present in the structures. So it is not advisable to have retained austenite, because inside there will be obviously variation in the mechanical properties throughout the structure. So to avoid this retained austenite should be converted into perlite, or this fine perlite or coarse perlite or sorbite or trustite. We should convert whatever the structure at the surface area we have, the same structure that should be having in the core region. Otherwise there will be variation in the mechanical properties throughout the cross section of the component. So with this I wind up this session. So in this till this video session we have discussed the formation of martensite, we have discussed the formation of lower bainite, we have discussed the formation of upper bainite, and we have discussed the formation of trustite, and we discussed the formation of sorbite, and then fine perlite, and then coarse perlite. So all these are formed at different temperature zones. The only thing is we have to bring that metal to that particular temperature, and we should hold that metal at that particular temperature until the entire austenite transforms into the required microstructure. So with these microstructures we can get the required mechanical properties without changing the chemical composition of the steel and without having any internal stresses developed during the transformation process. So in the next video session we will be discussing how these curves are constructed. I hope you understood the session. Thank you.